Friends, welcome back to this program on Tenders 101. We are at a very interesting juncture in this course, and in Module 9, we are going to discuss a case of blast procurement. And blast, as you're aware, it's a commonly used item in railways. It forms the part of the formation, the track formation on which the rails are laid, and think of railways, you cannot imagine railways without ballast. So every railway track, you have the railway lines, and then you have the sleepers, you have the fittings, fasteners, and then you have ballast, which is supporting the track structure. So now, in terms of the way railway works, ballast, we use 50 machine crust ballast, and it is one of the most procured items for railways. Now, as per policy, we take ballast only through depot supply. So there are multiple depots in every railway division closer to track, and ballast is supplied at these depots. Only in special cases, we take cess supply, and cess supply is the supply of ballast, which is along the railway track. So depot supply is the norm. In exceptional cases, we resort to the cess supply. Now, any new depot in zonal railway is opened with the approval of chief track engineer. So it's an important decision. It has to be logistically optimized where to place the ballast depot such that from depot to supplying blast along the track becomes a logistically optimal location. Now, the blast depots have a railway siding. They are full rake ballast sidings with entry and exit from both sides. So there is entry and then exit facility at both ends. It has a facility for direct placement and drawal of blast hoppers. So hoppers are the wagon through which blast is supplied at the depot, and when you open it from one side, then you can tilt it and blast gets unloaded. Now the stacking area is developed for along the entire length of the siding, and it's also important to have suitable approach roads, because very often blast can also be supplied by contractors through these roads. Now normally, as per process, we have supply requirements for every financial year, which is assessed in the month of November. And because it's a regular item, so it's very important to finalize what is the annual demand for ballast going to be in the next following year. And once that demand is assessed, then tenders are invited at the beginning of every financial year to take care of ballast requirements for the whole of the year. Now, so this is what we looked at. So there are sleepers, there are rails, and then we have ballast formation and earth. So there's a blanketing sand, and there's a drainage, and then there's earthwork. So that's the track structure. Here the visual of a blast quarry where stones are crushed. You have the crushers, and through these crushers, it is machine crushed into 50 The size, these crushers will have sieves of different diameters, and accordingly the blast is crushed. And then blast depot will have, stacks where blast is stored. And from here, then these are supplied along the track. So this is cess supply, along the track supply. There are people working. Look at these yellow ropes, which is there for measuring the dimensions of the cess supply. But most important, the top dimensions are fine. The bottom dimension is critical. It has to be a flat land. Only then the calculation of cess supply would be accurate. Now, we have a small case study, which is ballast supply at depot and loading in hopper wagons. So there's a contractor who railway is looking at, and the aim is to get blast supply at the depot, and these have to be loaded in the hopper wagons. So let's get started. On 20th November 2019, the divisional engineer invited a retender. A retender means the previous tender was cancelled and he's gone for a retender. This is for supply of 25,000 cubic meters of 50 machine crush ballast at Depot M, and loading of ballast in railway hopper wagons. And this has to be supplied in 3 months. The total estimated cost of supply plus loading as per detailed estimate prepared, which was prepared in January 2019, that's about 11 months, was 181.25 lakhs. This work was originally tendered in the month of May 2019. In September, the tender was discharged as the sole L1 offer received was for 228 lakhs. So the base cost, estimated cost was 181 lakhs, whereas this was 228 lakhs. So this is about 40 lakhs higher, so roughly about 20% higher than the sanction estimated cost. For the retender, the new tender was opened on 11 December 2019. So that's after 21 days notice. 4 parties submitted their bids. One party could not fulfill the eligibility criteria of having completed one contract of at least 10,000 cubic meters in the last 5 years. So one of the eligibility criteria in this case was, in the retender, was that every bidder should have supplied at least 10,000 cubic meter as a part of their experience in the last 5 years. Now, for the 3 bidders which are eligible, we have the comparative statement, which is as follows. And it's important to look at each aspect of the comparative statement. So there are bidders X, Y, and Z. And the bid value for bidders X, Y, and Z are as follows. X has quoted 226.20. L1, which was rejected, was 228 lakhs. So this is a little less. Bidder Y has quoted a bid which is 210.4, right? So 210 lakhs for supply. And then he has split the work and he has made 2 part offer. So for supply, he has quoted 210.4. And for loading, he has quoted 11.4. So his total offer is 210.4 plus 11.4. That makes 221.4. And bidder Z, he has quoted his offer is for 222.6. So as you can see, 226, 221.8, and 222.6. So these are the 3 offers received. Now, as a part of tender condition, each bidder was also supposed to quote the source, the quarry from where they are supplying, they're going to source the ballast. So bidder X will be sourcing ballast from quarry P and R. Bidder Y shall be sourcing from quarry Q, and bidder Z will be sourcing the ballast from quarry I. So X and Z, both X as part R, part P, Z is fully R, and bidder Y is supplying from quarry Q. Now, the distance from quarry to depot in case of quarry P is 30 kilometers, and for quarry R is 25 kilometers, and for quarry Q is 20 kilometers. None of the parties have quoted any special condition except Y, which has quoted separate price quote for supply and loading. So effectively, party Y has quoted for both items, but for both items, Y has given 2-part offer. So for supply 210 and for loading 11.1. So this is the background of the case in which the tender committee has to evaluate. Now, the briefing note was vetted on 8th February and had following points for the consideration of TC. So this bid was invited on, as you're aware, this bid was invited on in November. The tender was opened in December, and the briefing note was vetted on 8th February. which had following points for the consideration of the tender committee. So all three bids are valid and have produced documents that meet eligibility criteria. The last three accepted rates for ballast supply at the same depot is as below. So for ballast M, in the last three supplies were for 45,000 cubic meters, 30,000 cubic meters, 40,000 cubic meters. And the dates of supply is mentioned here. So for April 18, November 16, and May 2015. And the distance of quarry for each of the case is mentioned: 35 kilometers, 25 kilometers, and 30 kilometers. And the per cubic meter rate of supply is also provided in the briefing note. So 665 rupees per cubic meter. But the last, this supply was only depot supply. There was no loading element to it. This supply in November, it includes depot supply and hopper loading. So there are two things clubbed, and the distance is 30. In this case, it's depot supply plus hopper loading, and the rate was 630. So today we are in 2020, and we have rates for the last three dates go back at least 5 years in time. So okay, this railway unit also had a separate recent contract which was signed in May 2019 for loading of ballast in hopper wagons at different locations. So not at Depot M, but let's say Depot A, right? And in this case, this was essentially a loading contract, so loading of ballast from depot into hopper wagon, and in this case the rate for same was 65 rupees per cubic meter, right? So if we take 665 as the latest rate and of supply, and if we take 65 rupees as the latest rate for loading, then the latest rate for depot supply plus loading shall be 665 plus 65, which is equal to 730 rupees, right? The wholesale price index in the last 5 years has changed as below. So in January 2015, WPI was at 106. In January 2016, it was 114. The next rate was 121, 128, 135, and now it is 142. So wholesale price index is provided to load up the inflation for for all the years that we have been provided. Now the TC meets in the first week of March, and the convener's debrief to TC is that ballast is a safety item, and in the last ballast review meeting by DRM and CTE held in February, it was minuted that ballast supply at Depot M is in the amber zone. And below amber zone it gets red. So continuously the stock is getting depleted, which means that it's essential to have new supply for Depot M. So DN, and that's the point he is making before the tender committee, that this work is critically important, and they have to ensure that Depot M has ballast before monsoon. Now, quarry R is saturated. He also says that amongst the three quarries that we had, quarry R is saturated. So, which means that there's too much load in quarry R with backlog, and its ability to supply 25,000 cubic meter before monsoon is limited. So 25,000. So if we have to procure 25,000 cubic meter, and quarry R can only supply 10,000 cubic meter or 15,000 cubic meter, so any contractor who has linkage to quarry R, it would be a risky decision to go with that contractor. So that's a moot point the convener is making. Then he also makes a point that there has been massive shortage of labor in the region, because Depot M, where Depot M is located, there has been migration of labor to big cities, and because of this, the labor rates near Depot M has spiked by 15 to 20% in the last 12 months. So he's also making a point that the WPI that we saw here, it is a combination of everything. It's the labor index, it's material index, but the point that the convener is making that near Depot M, the labor rates have spiked and WPI might not be the best indicator, and therefore we need to factor in the increase in labor rates. He also brings out that it is the first week of March, so there's a looming threat of coronavirus, and finalization of tender is critical, because if we do not finalize in time, then if coronavirus strikes and if there are lockdowns and those sort of stuff, then the work gets critically delayed. Now, the task for all the participants of this course is fairly simple. Imagine you can split yourself into 3 roles and assign one person becomes the convener, the second person becomes the finance member, and the third person can become the third member of the tender committee. Now, the job before you is to submit a cogent recommendation of your deliberation to the tender accepting authority. So I would urge all participants of the program to get into a role play discussion and prepare in about 10 minutes of discussion. I would request that you guys join hands and then prepare a cogent recommendation. I'm going to come back and see you in about 10 minutes from now.